Hi, my name is Romeo. Welcome or welcome back to Star Pages. Today we're going to be talking about Star Daughter by Shveta Thakrar. Okay, the synopsis of this book is: if the night sky holds many secrets, it holds Shital Mystery's secret the closest. A secret that explains why her hair is the silver of starlight, or why some nights the stars call Shital by name. Stars like her mother, who returned to her place in the constellation Pushya years ago. Since that day, Shital has been forced to hide. But as her 17th birthday draws near, the pull from the sky is growing stronger, so strong that Shital loses control, and a flare of starlight burns her human father, an injury only a full star's blood can heal. Shital has no choice but to answer the star song and ascend to the sky, but her celestial family has summoned her for a reason, to act as their human champion in a competition to decide the next ruling house of the heavens. Desperate to save her father, Shital agrees, but nothing could have prepared Shital to face the stars' dark history or the forces that are working to shut the gate between their realms for good. So I got this copy. I believe this one is from Fairloot. I actually have two special edition copies of this book, one from Fairloot and one from Allcrate, because at the time, I think I got this copy before COVID. At the time, I was subscribed to both Fairloot and Allcrate, and this was the last book I got from both of them because I unsubscribed from both of them like right after this box was delivered. Before I got the box, but right after the box was delivered, like to cancel my subscription for the next month came around. So I didn't know that both boxes were giving out the same book. So I have two special edition copies of this book, and that would have been fine if I had given this book 5 stars. If I had loved it, I would have just wanted to add it to my collection and have a collection of books that I love. And 2 special editions, I wouldn't be too upset if I gave this book 5 stars. Unfortunately, I did not give this book 5 stars. I gave it 3 stars because the book was kind of meh. It was good, but that was it. It was just kind of good. So like, I'm probably going to be unhauling this if I find a way to unhaul, because unhauling in Jamaica is not as easy as it is for everybody else. Okay, so the points that I will be talking about in this book, in this review, sorry, is the competition itself, the boyfriend character, or Shital's boyfriend, the mythology, the friendships, and the characters in this book. So the first point is the competition. This is a negative thing for me, in my personal opinion. The competition took way too long to happen. The competition itself, that's mentioned in the synopsis, took place in the last 20% of the book. For me personally, I think I've mentioned this in another review, I don't remember which one it was, but I don't want the synopsis to spoil what happens in the book, but I want the synopsis to give a general outline of what's going to happen in the book itself. So like, if you give me a synopsis and the synopsis is just describing the first 4 chapters of a book, and then the rest of the story is something I wasn't expecting, like it's the fallout of what happens, I don't like that. And then if you tell me something is gonna happen and it doesn't happen to the end of the book, I don't like that. Like if you tell me in the synopsis that a character is fighting a war, then okay, they're fighting a war the whole time, right? If you tell me like the Poppy War description is like she gets into the school and now she has to deal with whatever. The book, based on the synopsis, generally it describes like a general idea of what the whole book is going to be about. I don't need that point by point. Like, I don't need them to tell me point by point what's gonna happen in each story element, but I need to know what the book is about generally, not just the first 15 or first 20% or the last 15 or last 20%. So the competition in this book, the competition itself actually took place in the last 20% of the book, and I didn't like that. And not only that, when I say last 20%, it wasn't the whole last 20%. It actually started in the last 20% and lasted like a chapter or 2. I didn't like that. And then the competition itself was so boring. Like, it was just like most of it was her sitting down, and then there was like kind of a heightened, not to spoil it, but there was like a heightened tension 5-second scene, and then what's the word I'm looking for? It was all wrapped up, and then we'll move on to her helping her father, like back in the human world. So like, don't tell me something is gonna happen and make me wait till the end. And then even if I have to wait till the end, like say if I had to wait till the end and it was good, I wouldn't be as upset. But it was not good. It was boring and it wasted my time, right? So if you're looking towards like a talent show, like that the book told us about, this talent show to find out who's ruling the stars for the next ruling period. If that's what you're going into this book for, don't, because you're not gonna get it till like, I don't know what 20% is. Hold on. To like, no, hold on. This is the front of the book. No, it's not. The book is upside down. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Wait, hold on. Like, this is the competition. Like, this is where the competition starts. And then it ends. Like, there. And then this is after. Like, I don't want that. So the next thing is the boyfriend character. I did not care for him. He wasn't annoying or anything. It's just he was, in my opinion, he was too prominent in this book. A lot of the story progression relied on the boyfriend, and it started to feel like his story and not Shital's story. It's like, you know, when people complain about Disney princess movies and they're like, oh, the Disney princess might be the main character, but it's the prince doing all the work. Like, they're not correct most of the time. But that description is what I felt like was happening in Star Daughter. Like, Shital might have been the main character, but without the boyfriend, she wouldn't have injured her father. Without the boyfriend, she wouldn't have known about star powers. Like, without the boyfriend, the competition would have taken place differently. There's a whole bunch of things that wouldn't have happened. The story would not have progressed as it did without the boyfriend so many times, and I did not like that because I'm reading for Shital, not her boyfriend. And then, like, her and the boyfriend were cute in the beginning, but like after the thing with her father, every time the boyfriend character popped up, every time Shital would be thinking about him, I'm like, okay, get over it. I don't care. Like, I didn't hate the guy, but I didn't care for him. I didn't care what's happening with him. I didn't care if him and Shital got back together. It wasn't my business. Like, I didn't want to see it, and it came up way too many times, and like, I wasn't reading for him, but it felt like I was reading about him. You know what I mean? And then the mythology. This is the first positive point in my reading experience. I was very interested in the mythology that was dropped, that this book was based on, and that we read about in this book. And I liked the way how it was woven into the story. It didn't feel like, oh, pause the actual story, tell us about this mythology, continue the story because it's relevant. Like, sometimes I can't think of anything, any book specifically right now, but I like, every time I see it done well, I have to point it out, because I have read stories where it's very obvious that the author knows that there are going to be readers outside of their community reading this book, and it's like they need a passing knowledge to understand what the character is doing. So it feels like the author is pausing the story to educate readers, so we know so we understand what's happening, or we get the references in the following chapters. So when it's woven into the story well, and it doesn't feel like the author is saying, oh, pause, education moment, I always have to point it out, because I love when it's done well. The heavens, the house of the heavens, like her going up there, her best friend actually goes with her. I wasn't expecting that, but I really loved it. And then them, like, while Shital is learning about her family history or practicing for the competition, and all kinds of shenanigans are taking place, her best friend is there, and I love that. I love reading about that relationship. It felt like a real relationship, like a real friendship that has been going on for years, a very close friendship, and I'm glad that they stay closer the whole book. I'm so tired of friendship breakups. I'm so tired, right? The characters, the main characters, the boyfriend I didn't care about. Shital, she was fine, but I'm still kind of upset about the competition, so I'm kind of turned that in. But I did like Shital and her best friend. Her father, when we were seeing him on page, like, I could tell the relation, like the relationship between Shital and her father, that felt very realistic. But the father, I didn't think much about him. The mother, we met the mother, I didn't think much about her either. Like, I didn't think much about her character. I do like the discussion that Shveta Thakrar put in of Shital feeling abandoned by her mother, but also wanting to build up a new relationship with her mother when she's up in the house of heavens, but also fighting with feeling abandoned, but also thinking, oh, I could be more accepted, like, be like my mother, be more accepted, or be myself up in the house of heavens, you know, around my mother. So I really like that discussion that was taking place in Shital's mind. So yes, 3 stars. It wasn't mind-blowing, but it wasn't bad. So 3 stars is my midline. It's a meh book. Would I recommend it? I wouldn't discourage people from reading, but I wouldn't actively say, oh my god, read this book. You know what I mean? Regarding liking, commenting, and subscribing, do what you want. But, you know, share the channel sometimes. Bye.